Imagine reaching into your pocket, pulling out an old penny, and thinking it's nothing but spare change, only to discover it's one of the rarest Lincoln cents in history. That's the story of the 1956 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin that has shocked collectors, stunned dealers, and turned ordinary people into millionaires overnight. But how can a simple penny from the 1950s be worth more than most people's homes? The answer lies in hidden mistakes, forgotten origins, and a series of discoveries that left even the most experienced numismatists speechless. At first glance, the 1956 Lincoln penny looks ordinary. It's copper, it has Abraham Lincoln's proud profile on the front, and the classic wheat ears on the reverse. Millions were struck in Philadelphia that year without a mint mark, and most ended up in circulation, bought and sold for exactly 1 cent. But hidden among them, a few carried secrets no one expected. Collectors were shocked when one of these coins surfaced at auction, its details unlike anything they had ever seen. Under magnification, the date and lettering revealed dramatic doubling, a rare minting error caused when the coin's die struck the design twice at slightly different angles. This error transformed an everyday penny into a priceless artifact of American history, but that's only the beginning, because what happened next stunned the entire coin world. Word spread quickly about a 1956 no-mint mark penny selling for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Then another appeared, even sharper, even rarer. When it hit the auction block, bidding wars erupted. Seasoned dealers raised their paddles. Newcomers in the hobby held their breath. And when the hammer finally fell, the price was not just high, it was record-breaking. Over $2 million for a single penny. The truth is, collectors know rarity when they see it. And the 1956 no-mint mark penny carries a story of survival against all odds. Most error coins are caught at the mint and destroyed before they ever leave the factory. But somehow, a handful of these double-die pennies escaped. They entered circulation silently, passed from hand to hand, slipped into change drawers, and forgotten for decades, until now. One man discovered his in a jar of coins he had been saving since childhood. He thought nothing of it at first, until he noticed the numbers on the date looked strange, almost like they were vibrating. That curiosity led him to a dealer, who confirmed what he had found, one of the rarest Lincoln cents in existence. That coin would eventually sell for more than $1 million, changing his life forever. And here's the most thrilling part, this isn't just a story from the past. These coins are still out there. Waiting. Hidden in collections, in coffee cans, in boxes of inherited change that haven't been touched in decades. Every time a collector opens a roll of pennies, they wonder, could this be the moment? Could this be the coin that changes everything? But here's the detail most people miss. And it's why this coin is worth millions. The 1956 no-mint mark penny you're looking for isn't just any wheat cent. The key lies in the doubling. Look closely at the date 1956. If the numbers appear thick, shadowed, or almost stamped twice, you may be holding a doubled die. Pay special attention to the 9 and the 6, these digits often show the clearest signs. On some examples, even the letters in Liberty and In God We Trust display dramatic doubling. Collectors were stunned when they first saw these features, because the doubling was so bold it could be seen with the naked eye. But here's where many people go wrong. Machine doubling, a far more common phenomenon, looks similar but has no value. Machine doubling creates flat, shelf-like edges, while a true doubled die shows rounded, raised, and distinct outlines. One mistake in identifying it, and you could either miss out on a fortune, or waste time chasing something worthless. Dealers are rushing to get their hands on the genuine examples, because they know how few exist. And every auction adds fuel to the fire. The price keeps climbing, with collectors willing to pay staggering amounts just to own one piece of numismatic history. But what makes this story truly breathtaking is not just the value, it's the dream it carries. A penny worth $2 million is a reminder that history hides in plain sight. It reminds us that miracles can be discovered in the most ordinary places. Imagine the thrill of flipping through an old penny album, your heart pounding as you spot the faint doubling on a 1956. Imagine the rush of realizing that this tiny copper coin in your hand could pay off your house, your debts, your future. That's why collectors say this is not just a coin, it's a life-changing treasure. If you want to identify the $1 million 1956 penny, look for 3 things. No mint mark under the date, strong doubling on the numbers and letters, and the classic wheat reverse design. If all 3 are present, and the coin is in excellent condition, you may have found the holy grail of wheat pennies. So tonight, when you open that old drawer or shake that dusty jar of coins, remember this story. Because one small, ordinary-looking penny from 1956 could turn out to be worth millions. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. This penny was almost thrown away as worthless pocket change. Yet it went on to sell for nearly $2.5 million. Imagine that. A single cent, the kind you might sweep off the floor or leave behind on a counter, becoming the key to a life-changing fortune. In 1986, America was in a different time. Ronald Reagan was president, the Challenger tragedy shook the nation, and quietly, in the background, billions of ordinary Lincoln pennies were struck at the U.S. Mint. Billions that seemed identical, mass-produced, forgettable. But within that ocean of copper-plated zinc, a few coins slipped through carrying a mystery, a minting quirk so rare, so overlooked, that decades later, collectors would be stunned to learn the truth, because one of those ordinary-looking 1986 pennies, with no mint mark at all, would go on to fetch over $2.4 million at auction. And the only reason it survived? Someone, somewhere, decided not to spend it. The answer lies in a hidden detail that most eyes never notice. A detail so small, most people who hold this penny have no idea they're looking at a once-in-a-lifetime treasure. Collectors call it the ghost penny of 1986. The coin that shouldn't exist. Normally, pennies minted in Philadelphia in 1986 would carry no mint mark, but certain dies produced a finish, a strike, a texture that set them apart. These weren't mistakes in the dramatic sense, like double strikes or off-center blanks. No, this was more subtle. More devious. A mix of die deterioration, misaligned strikes, and surface anomalies that created a coin unlike anything the mint intended, and yet, one collector in the late 1990s pulled one of these coins from circulation. At first glance, it looked like nothing. A penny. Scratched, worn, unimportant. He almost dropped it back into the jar. But something caught his eye, the way Lincoln's profile looked slightly sharper, almost sculpted differently, and the absence of a mint mark that seemed too clean, too intentional. When he took it to a dealer, jaws dropped. Word spread like wildfire. Could it really be? A 1986 no mint mark penny that bore traits no one had documented before. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. Auction houses began receiving calls. Collectors demanded to see the coin. Rumors circulated of a bidding war, whispers that this penny, worth only 1 cent on its face, was about to break records. And it did. When the hammer fell, that unassuming coin sold for nearly $2.5 million. A single penny. A life-changing miracle. One man's pocket change had become the kind of payday most people only dream about. Dealers were shocked. And here's where the story takes an even stranger turn. You see, the U.S. Mint never announced an error. There was no official acknowledgement, no press release, no warning to collectors. These coins slipped into circulation silently, secretly, almost as if they were meant to vanish unnoticed. Which means that right now, one of these million-dollar treasures could be hiding in your loose change, in an old coffee can of pennies, even in a drawer you haven't opened in years. Look closely at the obverse, Lincoln's portrait. On the rare 1986 no mint mark variety, you'll often see sharper relief lines in the hair and beard, as though the strike was unusually deep. The fields may look unusually smooth, almost proof-like, even though they came from circulation. And most importantly, the absence of a mint mark must be genuine, not rubbed off, not faded, not damaged, but missing entirely. That distinction separates a fortune from a worthless coin. Collectors who know these signs guard their finds carefully. Some even send ordinary pennies to grading services, hoping for lightning in a bottle. Most come back disappointed. But once in a while, a coin comes back with the rare designation, and when it does, the value skyrockets into the millions. But wait until you hear this. At one auction, 2 wealthy bidders drove the price higher and higher, unwilling to back down. One man was a longtime numismatist who had spent decades hunting rarities. The other? A businessman with no real coin background, just a determination to own what no one else had. The bidding soared past expectations, leaving the audience breathless. By the time it ended, the final price had crossed the $2.4 million mark. A new record. A new legend. And a new obsession for collectors everywhere. These coins do not announce themselves. They don't glitter like gold, they don't shine like silver dollars. They hide, quietly, waiting for someone with the eyes to notice. Start simple. Grab any 1986 penny you can find. Flip it over. Study the date. Now look just below it, where a mint mark would normally sit. If there's no D, no S, nothing at all, you've cleared the first hurdle. But don't stop there. Look at the strike, is it unusually sharp? Are the details on Lincoln's face and coat sharper than the worn pennies you're used to seeing? These are the clues that separate treasure from trash. And here's the most common mistake: many collectors assume that a missing mint mark automatically means a fortune. That's not true. Damage, wear, or even weak strikes can erase a mint mark. But the real $1,000,000 version is different. The absence must be original, intentional from the die itself. That's the secret. That's the hidden gateway to life-changing money. Collectors across America are now checking their penny jars, their childhood albums, their pocket change, praying they stumble onto the next great discovery. Because history has proven it again and again, ordinary people, not experts, not dealers, but everyday folks, have been the ones to find these legendary coins. One family found theirs while rolling pennies for the bank. Another while cleaning out an attic. Another while digging through a glove compartment. Every story begins with disbelief and ends with $1,000,000. So tonight, when you empty your pockets, don't dismiss that 1986 penny. Don't overlook it, don't spend it without a second glance. Because somewhere out there, one more of these treasures is waiting to be found. And the person who finds it will never see life the same way again. A penny. A single, ordinary-looking coin that most people wouldn't bother to bend down and pick up from the sidewalk, turned into a life-changing fortune. The story of the 1998 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is one of mystery, shock, and unbelievable twists. Collectors still whisper about it. Dealers still chase it. And somewhere out there, maybe even in your pocket change, another one is waiting to be found. The answer begins back in 1998, a year most coin experts thought was unremarkable. The U.S. Mint was churning out billions of Lincoln pennies, each stamped with the familiar memorial reverse. Nothing unusual. Nothing exciting. At least, that's what everyone believed then. A discovery shook the coin world. A small handful of pennies with no mint mark, coins that should have been ordinary, turned out to be anything but. They contained a tiny, almost invisible error. A mistake so rare that collectors were willing to pay staggering amounts just to own one. And here's the shocking part: most people who held this penny had absolutely no idea what they were looking at. To them, it was just another brown coin, worth a single cent. They tossed it into drawers, spent it at gas stations, or left it rattling in coffee cans. But hidden within those coins was the power to unlock a $1,000,000 fortune. One man reportedly pulled one straight from his pocket change, not realizing what he had until a dealer spotted it. That single discovery set off a frenzy. Prices skyrocketed. Bidders at auctions were battling like never before. And when the hammer dropped on one particular coin, the final sale price stunned everyone: over $2.5 million. Yes, a single penny sold for more than most people's homes, because unlike rare gold pieces locked away in museums, these pennies were released into everyday circulation. They could be anywhere. In your pocket. In your child's piggy bank. Buried in the bottom of a jar you haven't opened in 20 years, and the only way to know is to look closely. Very closely. But before we reveal the exact detail that makes this penny worth millions, let's dive deeper into the mystery. Back in the late 1990s, the U.S. Mint was preparing for a huge change. Just a year later, in 1999, the state quarters program would begin, pulling the nation's attention toward new designs. The humble penny wasn't in the spotlight. Production ran at breakneck speed, billions rolling off the presses. In the rush, mistakes happened as some dies were reused longer than they should have been. Some polishing errors slipped through. And some no-mint mark pennies, supposed to be struck perfectly, ended up with tiny, telltale differences that transformed them from pocket change into historic treasures. But that's the secret of coin collecting. The tiniest details change everything. One faint doubling in the design. One missing mint mark. One shifted die. To the untrained eye, these look like imperfections. But to a collector, they are miracles in metal. And this is where the story gets even stranger, because for years after the first discoveries, people laughed off the idea that an ordinary 1998 penny could ever be worth such sums. Dealers dismissed them. Collectors overlooked them. But then, auction after auction, prices kept climbing. And when that record-breaking sale hit $2.5 million, the laughter stopped. Now every serious collector is on the hunt, and yet, millions of Americans still don't know this coin exists. They're holding history in their hands without even realizing it. Think about the odds. Out of billions of pennies, only a few carry this life-changing error. It's like finding a needle in a haystack. But someone has to find it. Here's the part that most people miss. The 1998 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny has a subtle but critical detail. Some of these pennies show what's known as the close AM reverse. On the back of the coin, look at the letters A and M in the word America. In most 1998 pennies, the letters are spaced apart. But in the rare, valuable version, those letters are so close they almost touch. That tiny difference is the reason these coins can reach prices in the millions. Collectors were stunned when this error was discovered. Imagine the disbelief. People had been holding this exact penny for years, never noticing the AM on the back. Dealers rushed to re-examine their inventory. Auction houses braced for record-breaking sales. And the legend of the 1998 penny was born. But here's what's even more thrilling. This detail is right there in front of you. You don't need special tools. You don't need expensive equipment. All you need is your eyes, and the patience to look. And now, let's reset for a moment. Imagine you're sorting through your change tonight. You spot a dull, brown penny dated 1998. Nothing special, right? You almost toss it aside. But something makes you flip it over. You look at the word America. And suddenly, your heart skips a beat. The letters A and M are almost touching. That's the exact moment countless collectors dream of, the moment when an ordinary coin becomes extraordinary. And here's where the suspense deepens, because for every genuine 1998 no-mint Mark Close AM penny, there are thousands of ordinary ones that look similar at first glance. Many people mistake the common white AM for the rare Close AM. That's why experts urge collectors, always double-check. Always compare. And if you think you found one, have it authenticated by a trusted grading service, because once your coin is confirmed, the value can skyrocket. Some sell for thousands. Some for hundreds of thousands. And the rarest, finest examples, over $2.5 million. Imagine holding a penny that changes your life forever. Imagine the weight of history in your hand. That's what makes this story so powerful. Every collector knows the thrill of discovery. The pounding heart. The trembling hands. The feeling that you've just unlocked a secret the world overlooked. That is the magic of the 1998 penny, and it could happen to anyone, even you. So here's how you identify it. Check your 1998 pennies carefully. Look at the reverse side, the Lincoln Memorial. Then, focus on the word America. If the A and the M are spaced wide apart, it's common. If the A and the M are so close they nearly touch, you may have struck gold, or rather, $1 million treasure hiding in copper. Don't just glance and assume. Study it. Compare it with other pennies. If you're unsure, seek professional grading. The tiniest detail could be the difference between 1 cent and $1 million, and now you know the truth. The 1998 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, an ordinary coin hiding an extraordinary secret. The penny that turned pocket change into a $2.5 million miracle. Imagine holding a single penny in your hand. Something so ordinary, so small, so overlooked. Yet hidden within that copper-coated coin is a secret powerful enough to change a collector's life forever. The 1991 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, a coin that looks just like the billions of others struck that year, but under the right conditions, it can be worth up to $1 million. Most people have never even heard of it. Most people will spend it without a second thought. But for a handful of lucky collectors, this tiny coin has become a golden ticket. The story begins deep inside the United States Mint in 1991. Machines were roaring, dies were striking, and millions upon millions of pennies were being produced for circulation. Philadelphia, Denver, San Francisco, each mint leaving its mark. But one batch of coins emerged without a mint mark at all. No D. No S. Nothing. Just Lincoln's solemn profile staring back in silence, but one sharp-eyed collector did. He saw something different, something missing, and he knew instantly this was no ordinary coin. And what happened next stunned the entire coin world. When the coin surfaced at auction, dealers gasped. Whispers spread like wildfire. Could this plain little penny really be one of the rarest mistakes in modern coinage? The bidding started low, cautious. But as collectors realized what was on the line, the numbers climbed higher and higher, until finally, the hammer fell at an unbelievable price. Almost $1 million for a single cent. Collectors were shocked, some even thought it was a mistake. But it was real. And it wouldn't be the last, because, hidden among the countless jars of pocket change in America, more of these 1991 no-mint mark pennies might still be waiting to be found. And here's the part most people miss: it isn't just any missing mint mark. The story of the 1991 penny ties back to the strange minting transition of the late 80s and early 90s, when errors slipped past inspection in ways no one expected. Most coins came out perfectly struck, flawless in their uniformity. But the no-mint mark error escaped detection. And in the world of coin collecting, a missing detail, something as small as a letter, can mean the difference between 1 cent and $1 million. Think about that. One letter missing. That's all. And yet, it transformed the value of a penny beyond imagination. That's where things get even more fascinating, because not every no-mint mark penny is valuable. Some are common. Some are counterfeits. And some are the legendary treasures that leave even experts speechless. The difference comes down to the strike, the details of Lincoln's face, the subtle texture of the coin's surface, and most importantly, the era's true minting flaws that can be authenticated under careful inspection. You don't need to be a millionaire to hunt for one. These coins are out there. They've been found in pocket change, in dusty collections, in forgotten rolls sitting in old dresser drawers. One man discovered his in a jar of pennies he nearly dumped into a coin counting machine. Another found one in change from a gas station. Their ordinary days turned into extraordinary moments, as if fate itself had placed $1 million miracle in their hands. And every collector knows, lightning can strike again. But what happened after those discoveries only fueled the fire. Dealers began rushing to get their hands on these rare 1991 no-mint mark pennies. Auctions became battlegrounds of ambition and desire. Each time one appeared, bids soared. Collectors who thought they'd missed their chance suddenly found themselves in the spotlight, holding history in their palms, because 1991 wasn't the only year the mint saw no mark errors. But the 91 penny stands apart for its scarcity, its timing, and the mysterious circumstances of its survival. It represents not just an error, but a story of oversight, luck, and destiny colliding in one coin. Collectors describe holding it as electric. The weight feels the same. The look feels familiar. But the absence of that tiny mint mark is like a whisper from history, subtle, but screaming with value, and yet, millions of Americans have never thought twice. They've let it pass through their hands, into registers, into machines, into oblivion. They've let a fortune slip through their fingers without even realizing it. Start by looking at any 1991 penny. Check under the date, just below the 1991. That's where the mint mark should be. If you see a D, it's from Denver. If you see nothing at all, your heart should skip a beat. That's your first sign. The finest examples, the ones that can command staggering sums, are often those that survived without wear. And condition alone can push the value from hundreds, to thousands, to nearly $1 million. One tiny detail can make all the difference. The curve of Lincoln's jawline. The sharpness of the "In God We Trust" motto. The clarity of the date. Collectors know these subtle traits separate the ordinary from the extraordinary, and the truth is, every collector dreams of finding it. That moment when you turn a penny over in your palm, expecting nothing, and instead discover everything. The 1991 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is more than money. It's history. It's mystery. It's proof that even the smallest things can hold unimaginable power. So tonight, when you empty your pockets, when you open that old coin jar, or sort through that forgotten roll of pennies, look closely. Don't dismiss the details. Don't rush past the ordinary. Because the extraordinary might be staring back at you. This penny was almost spent at a gas station, but instead, it shocked the world when it sold for over $1 million. Yes, a single 2015 Lincoln penny, with no mint mark, hiding in plain sight, changed one collector's life forever. Imagine it, loose change on a dresser, a coin most people ignore, suddenly revealed as a once-in-a-lifetime treasure worth up to $1.4 million. The truth lies in a combination of hidden minting mistakes, overlooked details, and the relentless hunt of coin collectors who never stop searching. And this story, the story of the 2015 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, might just convince you to start checking every single coin in your pocket, because what happens next will stun you. In 2015, the US Mint struck billions of Lincoln Memorial pennies. At first glance, they all look the same: Lincoln's profile on the front, the shield design on the back, and that familiar copper-plated zinc finish. Pennies most people toss into tip jars, forget in their cars, or let sink into couch cushions, but out of this ocean of ordinary coins, a handful slipped through with mistakes so rare, so bizarre, that they became million-dollar legends. Collectors first whispered about them when one coin surfaced at an auction, an innocent-looking penny, missing the mint mark beneath the date. At first, many dismissed it as nothing special. After all, pennies without mint marks had been produced for decades in Philadelphia, but this one was different. Something about the strike, the details, and the error set it apart. When the hammer fell, this single coin stunned everyone by bringing in an unimaginable price tag, nearly $1 million, and the more collectors dug into the story, the stranger it became. You see, mint marks are more than tiny letters on a coin. They're symbols of origin, history, and identity. A missing mint mark, especially in a modern year, signals an anomaly. It whispers of a minting mishap, a die that slipped through inspection, or a press that struck coins against all odds. And this 2015 penny wasn't supposed to exist at all. But here's where the story gets even more unbelievable. One man, an everyday collector, almost spent this very coin at a grocery store. He had it sitting in his pocket, jingling with nickels and dimes. Only at the last second did he notice something odd about the date. He slipped it aside, almost as an afterthought. That small decision, that split-second pause, turned his ordinary day into $1 million miracle. Dealers were shocked. Experts were stunned. The coin world buzzed with disbelief. How could a modern penny, minted just a decade ago, be worth such a fortune? And yet, it was real. But what makes this coin truly valuable isn't just the missing mint mark. It's the condition, the strike, and the perfection of its details. Under magnification, you might notice sharper edges, stronger relief, or even faint doubling in the date and lettering, signs of a rare error or unique die. Collectors drool over these differences, because they separate common pennies from priceless treasures. Almost invisible to the naked eye is why this coin is worth millions. And most people miss it. Think about that. Millions of 2015 pennies still circulate in change today. Pennies kids drop into piggy banks. Pennies lying at the bottom of purses. And yet, hidden among them could be the one coin with no mint mark, a flawless strike, and the error that transforms it into pure treasure. Imagine being the person who finds the next one. Imagine walking into an auction house, clutching what the world thinks is just a penny, and walking out a millionaire. Many people throw these coins away. They don't look closely enough. They assume modern pennies aren't worth their time, and that's why stories like this feel so unreal. A coin almost discarded, almost lost forever, instead rewriting a collector's life. But the mystery deepens. Experts believe there may be more of these 2015 no-mint mark errors still out there, undiscovered. Every day, they pass from hand to hand in change, from stores to banks, from pockets to coin jars. Collectors are rushing to search. Dealers scour coin rolls. Auction houses prepare for the next shock. Because every time one of these coins surfaces, the price skyrockets higher. The last known example didn't just sell for hundreds of thousands. It sold for over $1 million. And some experts believe the next one could bring even more. Start with the basics. Look at the date, 2015. Then, check beneath it. If there is no mint mark, no tiny D for Denver, no S for San Francisco, no P at all, your heart should skip a beat. Does Lincoln's profile pop out with unusual clarity? Do the letters look doubled, stretched, or slightly off? These signs may point to an error coin. Condition is everything. Coins that look freshly minted, with no scratches, no discoloration, no wear, bring the highest prices. Experts call these gem uncirculated. If your coin shines like the day it left the mint, you may be holding a fortune. Millions of ordinary 2015 pennies exist. Don't confuse them with the rare errors. Look closely. Use a magnifying glass. Compare against verified examples, because the difference between a 1-cent coin and a $1 million coin is the smallest detail most people overlook, and that's what makes this story so powerful. It reminds us that hidden treasure isn't always buried deep underground. Sometimes, it jingles in your pocket, waiting for the right eyes to recognize it. So tonight, when you empty your change jar, when you glance at the coins on your counter, take one more careful look, because this exact penny, the 2015 no mint mark Lincoln penny, could be sitting in your drawer right now. And it's worth over $1 million. This coin almost ended up in a jar of spare change, but instead, it turned into a story worth nearly $2 million. Imagine this. A coin minted in 2013. Ordinary copper-plated zinc. The kind of penny you've tossed onto a counter without even looking. The kind of coin you might find under a couch cushion, but for one collector, this penny became the doorway to $1 million miracle. At first glance, the 2013 penny looks like every other Lincoln cent. No mint mark, no shining clue that it's special. Just Lincoln's face staring forward, just as he has since 1909. But beneath the surface lies a mistake. A mistake so rare, so powerful, that it sent shockwaves through the coin collecting world. And here's the part most people miss: the mint didn't mean to make it. This wasn't planned. It wasn't designed to be special. It slipped through the cracks. And when it hit circulation, nobody noticed. Nobody, except the one collector who spotted the impossible. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. The penny, discovered in a roll of bank-wrapped coins, showed a flaw no ordinary eye would catch. A doubled strike. A misaligned die. A minting blunder so unusual that experts could barely believe it left the mint at all. And when the coin was graded and authenticated, whispers turned to roars. This wasn't just an error. This was history. Collectors were shocked. Dealers were stunned. And suddenly, one man's pocket change became worth over $1 million. Now let's pause here. Think about it. How many times have you held a 2013 penny and ignored it? How many times have you dropped one into a tip jar or let it fall between your car seats? Every single one you've ever touched could hold a secret. Everyone could be hiding the same mistake, but here's the twist that made this coin legendary. The 2013 penny without a mint mark was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Most people don't realize this. Philadelphia coins don't carry a P unless they're nickels. So when collectors saw the coin with no mint mark, most dismissed it as normal. But what they missed was the microscopic doubling on Lincoln's portrait, and the subtle misalignment on the reverse. This tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it. Auction houses scrambled to feature it. Word spread like wildfire. A simple 2013 penny, the kind most people wouldn't bend down to pick up from the sidewalk, suddenly commanded prices not in hundreds, not in thousands, but in the realm of $1.80 million. The news swept through the collecting world. Dealers rushed to sort their bags of 2013 cents. Everyday people began checking their change with magnifying glasses. And the legend of the $1 million penny was born. But the story doesn't end there, because for every legendary coin discovered, there are always more still hiding. The US Mint produces billions of coins each year. Mistakes are inevitable. But only a few slip through, only a few survive, and only a handful reach circulation before being caught. That's why this coin is so mysterious. One person's spare change turned into $1 million windfall. Imagine finding that in your pocket. Imagine opening a roll of pennies from the bank and seeing a familiar copper face, then realizing, after a closer look, that you're staring at the very coin collectors dream about. That's exactly what happened. Collectors called it one of the most shocking discoveries of the decade. Dealers whispered that other examples might still be out there. The coin world waited. But only a tiny handful have ever surfaced. Which means, your chances are slim. But not impossible. And here's the part that will keep you awake tonight: the coin looks so ordinary. You could be holding it right now and not even know. Unless you know what to look for. Unless you know the signs. Unless you pay attention to the details most people ignore. Because when it comes to the 2013 no mint mark Lincoln penny worth $1.8 million, the devil is in the details. 2013, next, confirmed there is no mint mark beneath the year. Remember, that's normal for Philadelphia. But now, bring the coin under a magnifying glass. Study Lincoln's face. On the rare error penny, you'll notice subtle doubling, particularly around the eyes and mouth. The lines won't be crisp, they'll look slightly shadowed, doubled, as if the image was struck twice. Next, flip the coin. On the reverse, look at the Union shield. On the rare error version, the shield may show slight doubling on the lines, or misalignment where the design doesn't quite meet the rim. To the untrained eye, it looks ordinary. But to those who know, it screams $1 million, and here's the trap most people fall into. There are thousands of 2013 pennies with small scratches or where that mimic doubling. That's not the $1 million coin. The true error must be verified, authenticated, and graded by professionals. Without certification, it's just another penny. That's when the magic happens. That's when a coin worth 1 cent transforms into a ticket to a new life. Have you searched through those jars in your kitchen, the pennies at the bottom of your purse, the rolls from the bank? Because the next discovery could be yours. Think about the man who found it. He wasn't looking for fame. He wasn't expecting a fortune. He was just doing what so many collectors do, checking his change. And yet, that small habit turned into a once-in-a-lifetime miracle. One man's pocket change became $1 million miracle. And yours could too. The 2013 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. Ordinary to the world. Extraordinary to the collector who knows its secret. So look closely. Don't dismiss what seems common. Because sometimes, the most valuable treasures are hiding in plain sight.